Well, it's been a while, but what better time than ever for us to finally dive back into the DC animated movie universe, essentially. Now, if you recall, a while back, we looked at Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox, an adaptation of the Flashpoint Paradox comic, the very same comic that eventually led to the birth of the New 52. So let's talk about the New 52 for a bit. It cannot be understated just how much influence the New 52 had on, well, anything DC. Trust me, now the actual comic line itself was not handled the best, Sailing Cars retrospective on that for a better, fleshed out version of it. But, again, one thing that all of the branches were committed to was having it be that the New 52 aesthetic would be the main aesthetic. For example, in Injustice Gods Among Us, the actual proper history timeline uses the New 52 designs. As for the rides, well, yeah, those also would take on guises from the New 52. In fact, some of those are still left up because, well, amusement parks don't always stay up to date with that stuff. But, most clearly where that influence still relies in is the DCEU, the DC equivalent to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or at least what it will be until James Gunn apparently has his way with it. Now, again, since Man of Steel, they have been going for essentially a take on the New 52 look and backstory, as well as the character personalities to a point, depending here and there with how they picked or choose. Now, that being said, while the New 52 itself was a mess, there was one thing that actually managed to make a pretty good takeoff of it. And that is this lineage of movies that we started with Flashpoint Paradox. Again, the DC animated movie universe. Not to be confused with the DC animated universe, or the Timverse as some people call it. No. It's been no secret, DC for the most part pumps out some pretty great animated movies that adapt their comics into stories that are more digestible and thankfully have them be more self-contained so you don't have to deal with all the continuity you see in comics a lot here and there. This would be something of a change to that. Now, again, it would adapt some stories from the New 52, and of course would make them better. And I will give them credit, they committed to it. Now granted, every now and then we did get, a DC animated movie that was outside of this universe, maybe took a look back at the classic aesthetic or adapted a story from the old days here and there. But no, for one of the first times ever, DC animated movies would have a continuity set in everything. And again, like I mentioned, it was very good. That being said, as you know, Jeff Johns eventually got DC to realize, hey, this New 52 isn't really working, so let's iron things out with Convergence, which was great. And eventually, with the DC Rebirth Initiative, we would kinda get back the original continuity, mixed in with some aspects of the New 52. Basically, long story short, thanks, Dr. Manhattan. But we're not here to talk about the flipping crossover between Justice League and Watchmen of all things. No, today we're looking at the story that adapts the origin point for the Justice League in the New 52. You may remember this if you have seen the DC Abridged take on it. For those who don't know, there is a sadly now defunct series known as DC Abridged, which does abridged takes on DC products here and there. It's actually pretty good, you should check them out. But this is Justice League War, a look at how a new Justice League arises, with new members, old members, and, of course, the ever-familiar bout of what it takes for these heroes to unite. So, then, start at the custom logo, which is essentially the DC animation logo being drawn in on this movie, and let's begin in 3, 2, 1, click. Ah, the good old days before David Zaslav.
I just checked in this version, Superman is voiced by Alan Tudyk,
Yeah.
Hey.
Why that cast?
Hey, he's Optimus Prime.
No. Okay,
So,
believe it or not, Tio, Alan Tudyk does have range. You tend to see
I can
him.
imagine. I just would when they first speak. I want Alan Tudyk in a DC animated product. I will say Plastic Man, not Superman.
Okay.
He voices Joker and Harley Quinn.
Okay, yeah. Here's the thing about Alan Tudyk is we tend to see him in a lot of the more, I want to say, comedic or sleazy roles, but he is capable of doing that big heroic presence as well.
The thing about Alan Tudyk, though, at this point, I pretty much consider him the new Frank Welker, basically.
Okay.
I mean, he's also great at doing animal noises, like Frank.
So someone is terrorizing Gotham, and it's probably not Batman.
Yeah, this is around that point where Batman was kind of a myth or legend before he became more of a public presence.
Wow, that's actually relatable. Oh.
Speaking of that,
we're missing the boss.
The boss being, oh, hi, Al Jordan.
Yep.
Al, what are you doing here?
Okay.
Well, sometimes he pays a visit to Gotham.
And again, one thing about the New 52 is that a lot of characters definitely were not always on the best starting terms, but...
Yeah, that's clearly not Batman. I guess it's a Psycho Demon.
Ah, joke's on you, Green Lantern. I'm painted in gold, even though that's stupid.
That's not how it works, though.
What do you mean?
No,
it's yellow.
Tell that to Frank Miller, Dej, not me.
Well, Frank Miller's a hack. We've established that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Al Jordan is being this version is voiced by Justin Kirk. I don't think I know him. Hi. Use the elevator.
Go down the stairs.
Actually, that building doesn't seem to have an elevator for some reason. Oh!
Not food!
It's food.
A little bit on the nose there, aren't you?
They destroyed
Okay, I don't know if Al reappears in this continuity, but this is the only movie where Justin Kirk voices him.
I'm kind of indifferent towards Hal Jordan.
Okay,
I prefer Kyle Rayner.
And,
of course you do.
And I prefer that guy from the Daily Show. I mean, Jon Stewart.
Jason O'Hara voices Bruce Wayne in this version, but not particularly digging him.
Tia, what about the best Green Lantern, Guy Gardner?
No.
It's good for a laugh.
What about Ryan
especially if he's on the receiving end.
Yes.
Okay, let me put it like this. My favorite Lantern is Jon Stewart. Okay.
I wonder why.
Well, okay, it's not for that obvious reason. It's like, I kind of grew up with the guy, thanks to the Justice League show. Okay, let me put it like this.
Yeah, there's one thing. A lot of writers, especially ones who don't understand Hal Jordan, tend to flanderize him to be very stupid.
Well,
they cast Ryan Reynolds in the live-action movie.
And I do mean, foregoing common sense sometimes.
Okay, this Lantern's not so much stupid, but he's very straightforward and by the book. Okay, here's my deal with Hal Jordan here. I don't hate the guy. And I understand the guy had a very, very raw deal. Essentially the whole Parallax stuff where the comic writers turned him into a villain, and yeah, one thing led to another. That being said, I do feel that sometimes people really overplay him as, oh, he's the quintessential Green Lantern. Like, guys, tons of kids have grown up with Jon Stewart. Tons of people grew up with Kyle Rayner. My issue is that in trying to really glorify Hal Jordan, I feel like a lot of the other Green Lanterns don't really get their dues.
Yes, Pedro?
Also, is it just me? Or the Batman says something along the lines of, when they were talking about how they were afraid of them, it's necessary, or something like that.
I guess this is one of the early years Batman.
Yeah, this is a
because obviously Batman wants criminals to be afraid of him, obviously, because that's kind of his whole point, but he wants the authorities to have a good relationship with authorities.
I forgot,
so that
Joe,
they don't get in his way when they fight criminals.
Does the adaptation of Batman Year One is part of this continuity or not? I forgot.
It was kind of, yes. One infamous thing about the New 52 is that a lot of Batman stuff relatively remained unchanged. That being said, one thing the animated universe does a lot better is well, for one thing, the information that you need is more there. Oh, I love this bit.
Mm-hmm. There. Well, actually, Bruce, there's this Elseworlds comic.
Where you actually are, man.
There's actually also a Green Lantern What If where Batman became a Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's called Rip and Bold.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's that constant joke about how so many DC writers are way too enamored of Batman, where they keep constantly doing, "What if Batman was this? What if Batman was this? What if Batman What
if Batman was your mom or something like that?"
Okay. Okay. Again, Frank Miller pulled this shit also in All-Star Batman and Robin, and I'm sorry, I have to agree with everyone criticized that. The Green Lantern ring cannot be snatched this easily.
To be fair...
But it's Batman, he can do anything.
Of course he can.
Okay, mate, why not just, before Batman, didn't you just, put up, a shield or something? It's a good job, Green Lantern.
Yeah, like so.
Otherwise, he'd have handled it by making a hologram of Bruce Wayne's parents and to escape.
Yeah, Darkseid.
Anyway, allow me to explain the previous scene, essentially. What Batman did was catch him off guard. That is something you can still do with a Green Lantern before they're able to react with the shield.
But again, like I said, Jova, snatching away the ring from the hand, it's something that is constantly fast and loose, and for the sake of integrity of not just Hal Jordan, but any character associated with Green Lantern, should not be possible as a design.
Okay, so here's the thing, though, is like you mentioned, we have seen other characters even snatch the ring here. That being said, what this movie does show is that, unlike, Frank Miller, Hal is not necessarily powerless, as he was able to literally telepathically snatch the ring from Batman's hands. So, to be fair, it's not like he's rendered helpless by the Batman.
Is Hal Jordan a narcissist?
No.
Kyle Rayner he's an artist anyway. Dude.
Oh yeah, so he's an egotist by default. Gotcha.
Okay, Dej. You may have seen a take.
That was a joke.
No, hold on. Let me explain. You may have seen a take where Hal Jordan was a bit narcissistic. Here's the thing about Hal Jordan. Again, he has had a lot of iterations where writers try to make him as beloved as Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner. Because again, Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner have a lot of flavor to them for differing reasons here and there.
It's weird considering how the Justice League cartoon in DC AU tried to set up Kyle Rayner as the Green Lantern for Justice League, but then they're like, yeah, let's make it Jon Stewart.
They did bring him back in Justice League Unlimited, but yeah.
But it was just a cameo.
Well, not so much a cameo. He did have a role to play in the Android episode.
Yeah, something I've always wondered about, considering that they can imagine anything with their powers.
Yes.
Is there any from just instantly imagining a fight for them in a
There's another thing to the construct of waves. It depends on willpower and actual strength of will. As in, it not just your creativity, but how much resolve do you have. As such, the different Green Lanterns have different types of power level in relation to these. Again, Hal Jordan tends to be the more, and Jon Stewart to an extent, tend to be the more balanced ones. Kyle Rayner has a lot of creativity, be an artist, but shit willpower basically, and instead Guy Gardner has the imagination of a potato, but when he gets to think of something, there's no way you can dislodge him for that. I believe
His power isn't willpower, it's stubbornness.
He said
Flintstones. Why?
Little tyke.
The pure of art, everyone.
So, is this a Bob later on, and he has that accident?
And hey, here's Victor Stone.
Those are a bunch of words you definitely just said.
It's
Someone doesn't understand
football lingo. I know.
Someone doesn't understand the basic principles of football. Shows that you're not.
Again, Boston.
Well, if there's any consolation, that unlike dweebs, to me, sport is always on an equal level in terms of not caring or understanding.
Well, maybe it's just me, Deji, but I have bought, but without.
Yeah, no one cares about rugby.
Why are you in the Rugby World Cup then, if you don't care?
Because we simple.
Yes!
Because we want to make you guys feel good.
Touchdown!
So the movie's over, right? We won the game. Oh, right.
if this were just time, then maybe.
Everyone when they saw. Hey, look, that's everyone when they saw. This is everyone's reaction to seeing Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it,
right.
But protest not like the White House a bit extreme.
Edge. Justice for handsome man. Justice for handsome man. I'm not kidding everybody.
Speaking of the new 52, that costume, I really do not like it.
I like it.
There's no trace of gold. Wonder Woman should have some trace of gold in her costume.
I mean, it shouldn't be her. It shouldn't be her main costume. But
yeah, what are you talking about?
It's a nice default.
This is definitely what. This definitely sounding very.
But Tio, what are you talking about? There is gold. Her heart.
Sure. Let me check. Diana is voiced by Michelle Monaghan.
Michelle Monaghan. I feel like I've heard that name before.
I swear.
And what you did to Handsome Man was just unforgivable.
Hey, you were also played by Gail Gadot.
The Bourne Supremacy.
Hey, Mission Impossible Fallout. Oh right! Oh wait! Oh my God!
Julia's
oh my God! She's played by Julia. Wow.
Okay, you do you, I guess.
Well, Lasso of Truth.
Projection.
Okay. I'm glad at least isn't the joke. It's just
No, that would be something that the comics have done recently, where they actually did they actually went the extra mile, did the whole lasso through on a misogynist, but then they still beat him because, in their own words, the lasso truth only makes you tell the truth, but cannot stop you mansplaining.
Okay. So, so bits like this are stuff from the New 52, but done thankfully better. As Theo mentioned, holy cow in the comics. Like, okay, I don't want to say that the writers of these movies necessarily hated the New 52, but I do get the feeling that, well, okay, let's be honest, a lot of creators did not have kind things to say about the New 52 upon its death. But
I love how he actually turns.
Let me put it like this. I feel like what these movies did was they maybe took a bit of the piss out of the New 52, but they essentially did the New 52 much better. Again, granted, one advantage these movies have over the comics is like, well, you don't always have to brush up on like a ton of books of continuity or whatnot.
I just checked. The Billy in this version is played by Zach Callison, Steven Universe.
Huh. Okay, that's
Beat 'em
good
up.
casting.
Jesus, Dej.
The joke
Again,
is
Dej, I'm still stuck at the end of season 2. I don't know how bad things get. Of course, LexCorp is rebuilding stuff.
Yeah, that being
Just
said,
for the
I'm
good
not
of the
entirely
city, Tio.
That being said, I am not entirely certain on that Wonder Woman scene, to be honest with you.
No bets allowed. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Those were the days.
Thanks, movie. I totally liked seeing Hal Jordan being treated like an idiot.
oh my god, it's gonna get worse.
Oh, there's Soups.
I also don't like this take on New 52 Superman because like, oh, he's a jerk.
Okay, yeah, like I said, the movie thankfully tones down on these qualities, but yeah, New 52 Superman's deal was essentially this bit where he was kind of a bit of an uncontrollable monster. In this movie, he's a bit arrogant, but they thankfully made it that he's a lot more cool-headed.
Of course, classic trick of catch and it explodes.
Like Superman would never be this aggressive.
Well, he's not even really
Now, if
big.
this was the DC animated universe Superman, that would actually affect him.
Well, yeah, they definitely toned him down. But to be fair, Superman's not necessarily being the aggressor here. Remember, Green Lantern attacked him in the first place, essentially.
Also, that little sonar thing, yeah, now that I think about it, BVS kind of ripped that off. Huh.
It's one of Batman's standard weapons for criminal crowd control.
I guess.
I'm surprised the Arkham games never had one of those as a weapon.
Like, guys, you know who he is.
Well,
you know
no.
who you can-
No. In this universe,
Remember,
they
this
don't.
this is a story that showcases the origin of the Justice League, meaning that it's about.
No, I get that. Okay, so wait, so they don't know who Superman is?
No.
again,
Remember,
it's
this is
the case
based off of
each
the new.
hero starting to meet each other and everything.
Again, Pedro,
Oh,
this is
God.
based off of the New 52 and the origins
No,
of the Justice
I
League.
thought he said he knows Superman,
No,
not
no.
as friends, but like, oh, Superman, we've heard of this guy.
No.
You don't find Libs.
The thing.
No, I'm out for time.
The
Okay.
thing is that he said he'd heard of Superman, but they had never met him yet.
Yeah.
Well, okay. If they heard of him, they should know that he's indestructible by their from their perspective.
No,
Like,
again, heard as in just have heard rumors. They don't know the full picture
There's
with
also
him
this
yet.
fact, Pedro, if you forgot. The New 52 operated on the school of every superhero showed up exactly at the same time, 10 years after Batman started. Yeah, it's a very
What?
specific and yet stupid rule.
Again, thankfully, this film universe assuages that, thankfully.
So wait a minute. So what you're saying is that okay. So you said 10 years after, right? Though.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, to be fair to you, that's how he uncovered his identity in the animated universe, too.
Again, again, the way it's presented, it's just, oh god, Soups, what's wrong with your face?
Oh, you're talking
just
about the eye
stretched.
flashing.
No, it just became more chubby in one shot compared to the previous one. But I was talking more about, again, how cold the presentation-wise was.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It just feels pretty. It lacks power and elegance that something like that should have. Meanwhile, on Apokolips,
this is how Superman. Like, there are various incarnations where Superman finds out Batman's identity by just X-ray vision.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, let me check.
Batman v Superman, I believe.
Darkseid is played by Steve Blum, while Dejimon by Bruce Thomas.
So this is yet another
Wow.
feather in Steve Blum's cap.
Like by the standards of these different continuity, this design of the SAD can be actually considered attractive.
The design of the SAD.
The SAD is usually one of the major second-in-command generals of Darkseid, but the whole shtick in the comics that believes is that he's a creepy old man scientist. So all the time he gets, depending on the artist, he always gets, designed with a very uncountable kind of old man design.
And then there was that time he possessed Mary Marvel.
Yay.
Yeah, needless to say, Vic does not have the best relationship with his father.
Oh yeah, that's always the case in the origin story.
Again, I haven't seen Zack Snyder's Justice League. I guess this is the stuff that was cut out from the Joss Whedon's version.
Yeah. Oh no, the Cyborg's origin story is then pretty much straightforward.
Okay.
That's the thing too. Cyborg is the best part of that movie. That's
Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah, so here's
Ouch.
okay. So here's a weird thing. Starting with
Wow!
yeah.
Is there a single person? Okay, I have to sadly say, is there a single likable person in this movie?
Yeah,
yet?
okay. I've always heard, because I never read it back in the day. Okay, I've always heard that one of the primary complaints that people have with the New 52 is that all the characters are assholes. And
Yeah.
yeah,
hoping this movie-
I'm definitely
okay.
seeing it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
I
okay,
get
okay.
what Jova says, but it's toned down, but it's still present.
If I may, though, take notice of some things, though. Thankfully, Superman was able to realize that Batman was on the level here. If this were, say, the New 52, that fight would have lasted for like a comic or so, because holy damn, even when these guys are friends, like, to give them credit, we're already to the point where they're thankfully working together. It's a bit of a...
I still don't like Hal Jordan being an idiot, though.
I don't like it either, honestly.
He's not so much being an idiot, he's one with straightforward thinking.
Uh-oh.
However, unfortunately, they're starting to react.
You know anything about the new Godsmiths? You know what these devices are.
Well,
Yeah.
in that, how about this? I can at the very least tell you this. Victor's dad in Zack Snyder's Justice League is just fine. So
Okay.
so
Now again, one thing you also have to take into account
So
here...
this is what part of the origin story of Cyborg in this. It was contaminated by a mother box.
That is more or less how the New 52 made Cyborg
Yeah,
out to be,
'cause,
essentially.
they just pulled an Astro Boy 2009.
Because
Classic, I guess.
the only cyborg origin that I'm aware of is the one in or more so Zack Snyder's Justice League.
This is probably going to be more that in that regard.
Yeah. Well, remember the Snyderverse was also inspired by the New 52, from what I've heard. So
Again, though, I don't really see the characters as assholes in this regard. The thing to take into account is like, well, in the context of this, weird stuff is going on for them. It is definitely not at their best level here and there, so of course they would be on edge with each other here and there. It's not like to a point where they are constantly constantly going at each other here and there. And to Hal's credit, it's not even like he's portrayed fully as an idiot. He does still get to do some cool stuff. No, the point is that he's a bit headstrong, essentially. Since at the time of this, he had recently gotten the Green Lantern ring, and well, as far as he knew, he was the most powerful hero on the planet. Since while Superman was someone you heard about, you didn't always necessarily see him.
Oh, wow.
Yep, Vic had a bit of an accident.
No, I'm most surprised, but I guess he's still PG-13, some kind of fashion as a rating. I know, thanks to Dark Lord Shadow's review, that the conclusion of his continuity is actually R-rated, but we're far a long way from that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that will stop the parademons.
Yeah,
She
okay.
tried.
Oh, honestly, what didn't Star Lab actually got destroyed by something?
Okay, sucks to be. Oh, okay, never. Okay, it's
They
that.
pulled an Indiana
The
Jones.
Flash
temple
TV
thing.
show, I believe, because
look
it's still
flat.
intact.
Whoa!
That
Whoa,
looked flat
that's
out
CGI.
impossible, but whatever.
Some of the CGI in this movie is also odd for being 2014. Have you ever a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Darkseid?
Oh boy.
Okay. Question: was the original comic? I'm guessing this is based on just a natural Justice League War comic, right?
Yes, the
Um,
Justice League Origins, which was from part of the New 52, as Jova
Yeah,
said.
yeah. Okay, so how many issues did the original comic have?
I don't remember because I haven't actually read it properly myself. I just try to
Jova,
usually,
do you know?
but let me check. Again, I'm checking just to be sure. Origin, there you go. 6 volume, which is standard for the time of story arc for this kind.
Pretty
Yes.
much.
Yeah, I guess it's fine enough.
No, again, like, I can assure you,
Oh,
this
it
movie
took
is
almost one. It was B monthly. Seriously, it took almost 1 year to be released.
That is one of many problems with the New 52. Like, seriously, we could probably make at least a 2-hour
Gentlemen,
video
We can
documenting the
rebuild
issues
him.
with
We have
it.
the technology.
Yep, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But I've already wasted all my money on the CGI, though.
To be fair, it's like the Doom. Yeah, that was another thing the New 52 loved to have. Sometimes very gruesomely and cruelly torturing, actually, its characters. So in this case, let's have Cyborg story properly showcase, in all of its full body horror
I'm
glory.
genuinely curious. Was it a New 52 thing that they decided to have Cyborg story be connected to Darkseid's technology?
Yes, that was a New
Ugh.
52 original thing. It was
Because Young Justice also did that as well. I'm just like, why?
You want to know what else
Cyborg
started
just
with?
got treated badly as he were by that.
And I'm gonna say this now. He does not belong in a Justice League.
Yeah.
The Teen Titans is his team.
One thing that did originate with the New 52 was, like, I guess in a ploy to get more diversity, they put Cyborg on all these different teams. No, it wasn't just the Justice League. Sometimes he hung out with the Teen Titans. Sometimes he hung out with the Doom Patrol, which got translated into the Doom Patrol series.
You see, I like moments where Wonder Woman is just bonding with people,
Yeah.
trying to socialize.
Which, thankfully, this movie does have moments like that.
Does she have any moments with Shazam? Because I feel,
Oh, okay.
does she have any moments with Shazam? Because I feel like, considering their powers and the mythology surrounding them,
Diana, please stop pointing the sword at.
they would actually,
It's funny, Pedro.
No, it's not. It's terrible. Stop doing that.
The point is that
she's still learning.
yeah, and the point was that she was faking him for the ice cream
guess-
and complimenting him for it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's absorbing the metal.
Yeah, I understand. The 2017 movie did that too. I understand the whole idea. Oh, this is Diana's first time in civilization, blah, blah, blah. I get that, but, like, she should still know the basics of not pointing a sword at a person just for no reason.
Steve is voiced by George Newbern. How? Why is he not voicing Superman?
Wait. So you got George Newbern in this movie, and you don't have him play Superman?
My guess is, like, it is sort of with the new aesthetic on regards here and there.
This is what I mean. This is what I keep meaning about how bizarre is the lack of consistency with the voice acting in these movies. Like, sure, I get it, but you cannot 100% have it all the time. But sometimes you get very bizarre choices like this. If anything, it's something that I'm actually welcoming what James Gunn is doing to try to be more cohesive when it comes to the future of the DCU.
As usual, Wonder Woman can fight.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, the parademons are not necessarily robot. I'm surprised they are allowing this kind of gore on a PG-13 level.
I think in this case they're sort of like syntho drones in the sense
Still
where...
alien blood of some kind, I guess.
Also,
technically, we have yet to see any gore or anything like that.
Well, we have seen the parademons being chopped in half constantly throughout.
Oh, but they're not humans, though.
That's what I
Think
mean.
about
Well, like
ratings.
we're still organic in some kind of fashion.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. Like, for example, green blood. Like, usually censors are much more okay with green blood as long as it's than red blood. It's one of those
Okay.
things where technically, like, there are ways of getting around these things.
Taste fire extinguisher.
God
Don't you
bless
see-
him,
don't-
he's
don't you see-
trying.
Don't you see, Teo? The MPAA teaches you, Teo, that it's okay to kill beings as long as they're not human beings.
Of
See?
course.
Pretty much. Again, I think what they're going for with the parademons is, like, they're kind of sort of, how do I put it like this?
Go on,
They're
man.
synthetic, but they're not necessarily alive.
He became a reggae Pokemon.
Oh god, let's see. What reggae would he be?
Breezy. Jesus. Yeah, that was another thing also that the costumes in 52 love to have Tron-esque lines.
I think that was more so a thing in the Culling crossover.
Even in general, okay, it was a constant thing, although it wasn't always 100%, but on the main usual characters were present, like the Flash, even Batman had a costume like that at the beginning. Hey, speaking of the Flash, there's Barry.
Yep.
Hey, Barry.
And again, as we know, this is the same Barry from Flashpoint, so he has a bit of memory from the past.
So, needless to say, the world's kind of going to hell right now.
Literally, the parademons are considered properly like that, and Apokolips are hell of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Consider, okay, all the time that this kind of extra-dimensional invasion happened, particularly in something like Gotham, you had to wonder what the average criminal like Falcone or the Penguin are thinking when this happens. You know, maybe things are just a bit above their usual stick. Oh, great. Did what is called? I forgot. The author of Act of God, was involved in some kind of fashion the thought process of this.
Okay, it is not that bad.
Not in a sense, Jova, but again, we keep emphasizing how, not necessarily Al Jordan being stupid or anything, but keep emphasizing how Al fucks up and keep saying, oh, Batman, you're not the one with powers, and then he saves the situation.
Again, it's an origin story. Like, he doesn't know what Batman's capable of. Like, essentially, Green Lantern and Batman kind of have that little, oh god, what's the term, sort of a buddy cop venture thing going where one cancels out the other.
The thing is that if that was Guy Gardner instead of Hal Jordan, it probably would have made much more sense if you ask me.
Well, this goes back to one of my bits about Hal Jordan back in the day, essentially. It does feel like they were giving him attributes of other Green Lanterns here and there to make him more interesting, in a sense. Which I don't necessarily agree with. Again, though, I feel like this take on Hal Jordan is fine enough. He never really suffers anything permanent. Like, again, Batman snatches the ring, but Hal can just literally snatch it back with his mind, so that's all fair and fine. Sure, he gets knocked around a bit, but not outright humiliated. It's more so just about a wordplay between him and Batman. Now, if this were, like, say, definitely one of the things that glorifies Batman, I would definitely agree with you, because that stuff does get annoying.
Good night, Billy. Pure of art, everyone, again.
What is it with that making everyone come off as a jerk?
Okay, to be fair, Billy...
Wait, Jova, before you speak...
Oh, what happened to the frame rate when you fire the animators, I guess?
Before you speak, I'll just say this. There's a huge difference between making a character flawed and just making them jerks.
Yes, people are being testy, but not really outright jerks. And the whole Billy thing is more or less, again, kind of his New 52 stuff, more accentuated in his own movie, where, again, he's an orphan, not exactly happy with the circumstances, especially given what he'll later figure out regarding his mom here and there. So, but no, I don't really think they ever get to the point of being unlikable jerks like you guys seem to think in that regard.
I don't really like my superheroes being written like this, honestly, but that's just me.
Like what?
Like
Exactly
so
like you
cold,
said, Jova.
so cold and, like...
They're not being written cold, though.
Sure.
I don't know.
Like, no, what about them has actually been cold?
Like, I don't like Wonder Woman
Billy?
playing a sword at people. I don't like Victor's dad acting so incredibly dickish. I don't like...
Well, Victor and his dad always had issues.
Oh yeah, but Victor was never outright like...
Yeah, he wasn't...
Let me put it this way: that scene where Cyborg is asking him, "Oh, you're never coming to one of his game." Take a pause, and then he says, "No." Like, there's something just inherently wrong in the way that dialogue should be written.
Like Dad's mentioned, though, that's kind of how it has been in regards to there.
Yes, but there's a sort of classy making that. Like, if you want to convey that and you still want to have the character comes off as jerk, like say, I will think about it, and clearly understanding that he's telling still a lie.
But the thing is like, well, this movie showcases how rough their relationship is here and there. And again, Billy had one moment where he is a bit standoffish with his siblings. That does not...
Okay, Jova, you had to tell me this. Please don't tell me that even this animated version tries to ship...
I have bad news for you, Tio.
Hold on, Dej. Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Great.
By the time of the Doomsday Verse, they ship Superman more so with Lois in this universe.
Sure, I'm talking about discontinuity though.
It's at best a little slight flirting, not like, outright, oh, they're a couple.
They had a thing, and they realized it didn't work out. And there's a later movie where Wonder Woman and Lois have a heart-to-heart about talking about that.
Which is, again, why I point out that this DC animated movie universe handles the aspects from New 52 better, essentially.
And then Clark's like, well, Miss Price, I hope this doesn't disparage doesn't cause any fear of flying. Statistically speaking, it is still the safest way to travel.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no. Billy just being standoffish to his siblings for a bit does not equal to him being cold. And again, the whole thing with Superman we were over already. He was the one attacked first, and it wasn't like he was going to try and outright kill them either. But yeah, no, that's an issue. He's kind of interfaced with the mother box.
I think the problem for me is that considering they're trying to introduce all the characters all at once, they're all at the beginning of their character arcs, meaning they have yet to learn their ways. But since they're all being introduced at the same time, we get multiple scenes in a row of characters being like that. Because I feel like this is why I always prefer when characters are introduced.
Yeah.
I always prefer when characters are introduced on their own, and then later we have the crossover story instead of just trying to introduce them in the crossover story.
Which is something that the New 52 in the comics said. It was emphasizing too much crossover materials before actually establishing the characters.
Okay,
but I don't like that.
Okay, now
so these Apocalypse... Alright, I forgot the Apocalypse is for people. Well...
Okay, that I will give you. That, again, because this does have to adapt Justice League... While I don't think these characters are written badly here, I do agree that they could have benefited from having more time to be fleshed out here and there. That being said, I feel like the quintessential example of how to introduce these characters is in the masterfully done DC animated universe. Although, to be fair, that did have the benefit that Batman and Superman had like 2 whole series to themselves. Heck, Flash had technically shown up during Superman's as well. But that one, I'd say, was probably one of the best examples of how you introduce multiple characters to a bit here and there. Again.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a TV series, so it had a lot more time to handle things. Because this is an 80-minute movie, so they have to basically just, go through it quickly.
Shazam / Captain Marvel is actually voiced by Sean Austin.
Huh.
How random. To be fair, he did voice Hercules in the first Kingdom Hearts. Equally random, but I guess it's typecasting.
Mm-hmm. So is that his thing? Incredibly random appearances?
Yeah. Like Jova said, in a TV series, this is much more doable because you have plenty of episodes, you have a lot more time. Trying to introduce all these characters at once in an 80-minute movie, that's way too much.
Now, to be fair, since this is an animated universe, we will have later movies that help flesh them out here and there. And I do feel that what this movie does do relatively well at is introducing them as a group, the Justice League, which, from what I get,
yeah. Wait.
Okay.
Am I missing something, Jova?
Yeah, okay. One thing to take into context. You remember how at the end of Flashpoint, when Barry comes back to his reality, he sort of is in the middle of it. So think about it like this. This Barry at this point has not, got the memories yet of the Barry from Flashpoint Paradox, essentially. Basically,
I'll have to look this up just to know if he didn't get his information wrong.
You do that all the time,
because it's not a Joa thing. It's like this is the problem with the DC in general.
Which,
Also,
okay, you know what? That is
also-
a good point. Okay, but okay, let me put it like this, Dej, essentially. You know how with time travel, sometimes you merge, essentially, but, you know, there had to be a version of you that was around for the change of history before the you of the previous timeline becomes that person. Yeah, no, it's incredibly complicated. But essentially, again, this is essentially Barry before the Barry from Flashpoint becomes this Barry and has to get caught up on stuff.
Also, I would have to say, as a first event that tries to unite the Justice League for a crisis properly, I think Apokolips already starting with Apokolips might be a bit excessive on that front. I guess it's convenient to create Cyborg as an origin stories, I suppose, but I think someone like Starro, as in what united the League in the first ever comic, would have sufficed.
I guess
Yeah, but no one's gonna take a giant squid seriously.
no. It's actually a giant starfish.
Even lamer.
I guess when it comes to Starro, a lot of people tend to think that that is not only what necessarily, you know, brings, say, just the Justice League together. Starro tends to be a big enough problem to bring even heroes and villains together.
I mean, in a way, technology does kind of talk to each other, like, say, a PC.
I get that. but
Especially when you give your data to the government.
Oh, gosh.
I understand that, but yeah, this also comes into place to what I was talking about earlier, because you know, remember, like the focus here is on introducing and bringing the Justice League together. Cyborg's origin story happened, and he doesn't really get any period where he's lost and not to know what to do. He doesn't actually get to properly, you know, be a bit, you know, like you don't even get much of a reaction from him about the fact that he's now a cyborg. He apparently just accepts it very quickly.
He's only very mentioned is one line of dialogue towards his father, says, "Oh, now this is the only way you can accept him," but that the urgency of the situation makes it so that he cannot actually elaborate further.
Okay, this I will concede is something that the Zack Snyder movie did have more of an advantage of.
So,
well, Jova, considering... Go on.
Sorry, Colin.
Go on.
Well, Jova, considering that the Abomination was 4 hours long, but yeah, they definitely had more time than this.
I mean, I hesitate to...
So what's the inevitable podcast? Those commentary.
Okay, I hesitate to call it an abomination. Like,
I know. I'm mostly joking.
okay.
It's just like they should have just released it as a TV show.
I still think it's bad, but no, it's not that extent.
There you go, classic Omega beams. Fire them even backward, they always reach their target.
How about this? We'll go with 4 hours slog. There you go.
I thought your name was Darkseid.
Actually, that's the thing, Dweebs. Like I told you, it's not just a matter of concept or naming. Darkseid is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay.
Oh boy, here he comes.
I get to
It always,
God damn it, Hal.
Yep.
it always comes off. It always comes off to me as if Darkseid can't himself.
Trust me, Dweebs, considering most of the times you love to invade your personal privacy and sit on your couch, that's very appropriate.
Also, Dwebs, I have whatever name I want, so shut up.
Oh. Okay, so if you have whatever name you want, then I can also. Your name is Barry.
Actually,
No,
that's
fuck you,
Flash.
Fuck off with that movie. Go on, Joe.
Yeah, we already
I
have...
can call you Barry now. Come on.
I'm so glad to be a Green Lantern fan for this movie.
Yeah, okay, I'll admit, at that point...
Yeah, it's a good thing I never cared about Green Lantern, I say, as I hold my copies of the animated series.
Mind you, that I usually prefer... Call me masochistic in a way, but I usually prefer an Agent Orange or Larfleeze.
Okay. Okay, I do like that little bit where he asks, is he her boyfriend? And she pretty much blatantly says no.
I would say, oh Jesus! I would also say, I don't know if it was the intention of the writers or anything, but the Omega beams of essentially forcing Flash and Supes to go hyperspeed and inadvertently doing the comparison on who's the fastest between them—that's a cute touch.
Yeah. A lot of media likes to do Flash racing Superman.
Oh, that was one of the classic Silver Age stories.
Lantern, no.
Lantern, yes.
Well, wait. Did Batman just teleport? How did you get there so fast?
Again, Pedro. He's Batman.
No, I'm sorry. You can't just excuse everything with he's Batman. I mean, sorry. Like.
What did the Guardians of Oa see in this guy?
I don't know. What are they seeing?
And
Guy
again,
Gardner?
usually the story goes that the previous owner was literally desperate and searching someone. And mind you, in the original comic of the Silver Age, apparently they didn't bother to check with the colorist because Al Jordan was wearing a yellow shirt.
Oopsie!
Hey, Batman, if I remember correctly, you do have medical knowledge, despite not being a practitioner. Can you please pick Al up and take whatever stick he has up his ass off of him?
He's pretty much about to do that. You hear that, Doug Mullen? It's not just about him.
Wayne? He's Batman?
Basically, Batman's saying, look, you're probably the best qualified, essentially, to get everyone regrouped and whatnot.
I love how there was just a convenient trench coat there.
A master of disguise.
It's like in the Trip Become Human. There's a convenient cape.
Oh, so Batman is basically letting himself being captured as a civilian.
So yeah, basically, he's basically gave Green Lantern the go-ahead to get everyone regrouped and whatnot.
Wow, the Zack Snyder did the same joke with Aquaman in his Justice League.
Yeah, speaking of which, where is Aquaman?
Not in this movie.
He got lost.
Again, he's not in this movie. Believe it or not, if I recall...
Why?
Okay, if I...
Who cares about Aquaman?
Okay.
He sucks.
Okay, if I...
I'm joking. I'm joking. I like Aquaman.
Anyway...
Yes, Joma.
It's funny you mention that because, no, don't worry, this universe does like Aquaman, it's just that he wasn't in the Justice League War thing. No, Aquaman...
Considering we created a fucking tornado in the Gotham Bay, he will know this shit has happened.
He'd be like, hey, wait a minute.
Okay, trust me, you'll get why he wasn't around for this stuff yet at the time, because he gets his own origin movie in this universe, essentially. Basically, he was unavailable for reasons.
Yeah, need to be more clear, Barry.
No.
Wow, they recycled the animation just with a zoom in. How lazy. I noticed immediately. They couldn't even bother to crop it better.
I actually didn't notice that.
Like, it was the same same scene of dialogue where the Flash was asking something, but before it was a group shot, but in order to do a close-up, it was immediately zoomed in. Because the jagged edges of the border of the character were clearly more noticeable.
All right.
The Hal line was, oh, he's even more crazier than I am. Like, yeah, it's exactly like what Aquaman said in Snyder Cut. Like, look, I'm in water, but you dress up as a bat, so who's crazier than all of us? You're both crazy.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if a Justice League movie took a lot of cues from this movie, honestly.
Or the origin comic.
Terminator reference.
remember, the original plan of Zack was having this kind of thing, the Justice League being formed because of Darkseid's invasion on a big scale, divided in three parters.
Also, for a moment there, I thought Victor was gonna go into, oh, I'm a cyborg organism. Like,
So, is this the? Were they still calling him Captain Marvel
No.
at this point?
no.
The New 52 was the turning point where Marvel won whatever legal dispute they had, and DC, conceded and started calling the character Shazam.
Thanks, I
I wish
hate
they
it.
called him Captain
Yeah.
Marvel.
Well, I mean, what else with it? What else?
Once again, a bout of Marvel, and by extension Marvel, Disney, doing their thing of claiming something needlessly. Oh boy.
I feel like that was an issue before.
It was a thing that was ongoing for decades, and it was just disputed at that point.
If
I'm
I
not
recall-
sure how
if I-
much control Disney had at that moment, but
Okay, if I recall correctly, it was around
Jesus.
2011.
watch the birth of this new universe. See Superman getting tortured.
I mean, it's Desaad, so torture is expected.
Wait. Super Parade? Parade? What?
Dejimon.
Is this Digimon now?
No.
Fairmon, Digivolve 2, Parademon.
Yeah, he said, why did he pronounce that? It's supposed to be Parademon.
I don't think he pronounced it
I
like
guess.
that.
Why does he have two
guess-
faces mouth?
I don't know. I guess Bruce Thomas. Jesus Christ.
They're gonna give him Clockwork Orange style torture. Yeah, please. I've seen the light.
You know, is this you know what this film comes off as to me?
Hmm?
What?
This film comes off as if Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon actually directed Justice League, the original one, together, and their tones just made this thing. While the superheroes being more, I won't say they. Okay, it's a combination of the heroes being more, well, for lack of a better term, jovial with each other, and the otherwise really dark plot surrounding them.
Ah.
It's- For
Okay,
me,
better explained like that. I can kinda see that.
Like, basically, they're
Ow.
gonna
About that, Diana.
Kyle. Has he seen Billy yet?
She doesn't know that he's actually a kid.
they're gonna torture Superman by forcing him to sit through. Well, not sit through, to read
Superman.
through.
No.
Act of God.
No, Pedro. We're gonna show him only Superman 3 in loop.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's what I was gonna.
Please,
That's,
no,
what,
Jesus.
that's what I was gonna say.
And before anyone on the internet says otherwise, no, I'll still take 4 over 3.
Like, let me
I
put
mean,
it this.
four is a. Sorry, the audio thing. I didn't know you were talking.
Okay, 4 is technically a worse movie, but I do find it more entertaining than 3.
Definitely. 3 is
I mean-
just painful.
I mean, as a Brit, I mean, yeah, even from the because the film was entirely filmed here in the UK. As a Brit, it is kind of funny watching Superman 4 and seeing them, because of their low budget, try and fail to make Milton Keynes look like Metropolis.
That was, yeah, honestly, I'll admit, whenever I watched that movie as a kid, even I realized how different everything
Yeah, to be
looked.
fair, the sun is never one for physical combat.
Yeah.
so-
Oh yeah. Fun fact, Jova: the United Nations building they were in front of at one point in that movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's a train station.
The only moment from that movie that I actually kind of laugh, just because of how laughably dumb it is Superman. I'm like literally putting the Tower of Pisa straight, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh yeah, and there's also I don't know, the way I thought was kind of funny was when Nuclear Man was blasting everything around him, and all Superman did
No,
was just
stop
stand
the
there.
people.
Was just stand there. The most he did was like put out a fire and stop the people levitate.
Ow.
Oh.
Hey, Hal got a hit on him.
I might actually go there, take some photos of it, and Milton Keynes, I mean, see, try and be in the locations.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's another thing that checks out the powers that Billy has in terms of Shazam. While technically magical in nature, they're still a bit inferior in class when it comes to the new gods, because the new gods, in terms of they're considered alien technology at the end of the day, which has a bit of an advantage even over magic. Again, the DC universe operates on its own specifics when it comes to technology, the divine, and magic. Finally.
That's gonna leave a mark. That too. Alright. This is sort of what I was getting at earlier, though. Like, again, what Hal has essentially is a bit of humbling, but then eventually learning that there's stuff bigger than him, and essentially he gets better. Hence the arc of the comic in that regard.
Well, I guess there goes the sod.
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, it seems like Superman has been partially turned into a parademon. Hence why
Kal-El, no!
Kal-El, no.
Yeah, you know what?
Damn,
making
that's
sup-
a lot of. Okay, can someone actually check the rating of this movie?
PG-13.
Like, again, how much can you actually show in one like that?
Well, you see, Tio, we didn't show the actual eyeball torn out, so it's good.
Okay, but the blood was pretty vibrant red.
Oh, sure, that is true. I guess, Teo, this is one of those cases where the MPA was asleep. Remember, Teo, for somehow...
PG-13, yeah.
Remember, Teo, somehow the Hunchback of Notre Dame got away with a G rating, even though that doesn't
sure.
make a lick of sense.
Okay.
Yeah, different.
Okay. To be fair, Thor Ragnarok has Thor's eye being taken out, and that's only a PG-13 rating. So again, no, believe it or not, eye gouging does not automatically get you an R rating.
And round here, the film was rated 12.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's actual contains moderate violence.
Moderate.
Yes.
Quite.
They certainly are committing moderate violence on Darkseid there.
Let me check the score. If I recall correctly, the music was done always by the same. There's always been one guy consistently for this DC animated stuff.
Damn, Dej, I guess...
Kevin Cleese? Why I heard him already? Not
Oh,
just
Kevin
for these,
Cleese. Oh, Kevin Cleese. He's the composer of the Tangled series, Teo.
You're saying, Major?
Huh.
He's a TV... Hold on, Dej. He's a TV animation composer, Teo. He does various odd jobs
Also
here and there.
composed for Free Guy. Huh.
Yep. Damn, Dej. I guess 80s Donnie was right. There's way too much violence on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I do
That
love...
part of the opening of Family Guy, violence in movies and sex on TV.
No. It's a 80s TMNT joke, too.
Okay.
Because basically, there's a gag where Donnie's ready to kick the crap out of a villain, but then the villain throws some big ass way muscular mutants than him, and he goes, "On second thought, there's way too much violence on TV." So,
Huh.
Thank you.
Basically, the reason they're going for the eyes is, again, the Omega beams, essentially.
Yeah.
Take those out, and you take away a lot of his advantage.
Jesus.
Moderate violence, ladies and gentlemen.
Moderate violence.
Like, wow.
The UK and I have very different definitions of the word moderate.
And they're literally electrocuting his brain via, a metal jam into his skull.
That's okay. He can
Dang,
take
Billy,
it.
you're crazy.
I want to remind everybody that this is the country, not the country, but like this is the region that was not okay with the word ninja back in the day.
Wait, no. That was the UK that weren't okay with the word ninja.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The UK rated this as 12 for moderate violence.
Oh.
So, yeah, clearly the UK. Okay, Debs, is this overcompensating for the whole Hero Turtles thing?
I guess.
Well, I mean, this film did get rated 12 round here, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like they're overcompensating for the whole Hero debacle.
Well, again, yeah, we made Captain Scarlet a Mario puppet where it had characters being crushed to death and electrocuted, and it was rated U. U is basically the G rating of Britain.
Yep.
But you see, it's all puppets, so it's okay.
Of course. The mother box. Yeah.
Come on, just gotta hook up to the Apocalypse Wi-Fi.
Even so, one guy getting.
Oh
even showed a
God,
guy
what's the
getting run
password?
over.
Ah, damn it, the internet is down. Jesus Christ. Now what?
Oh fuck! What do we do?
Just a little bit of interface here. And voila! We have a boom tube. He's giving them the suck, I see.
That's one way to get rid of an infestation.
Yep. Back from whence you came!
Hey, at least we know where Paris is free, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Hey, look, it's the God of War symbol.
It's not like it's an actual Greek letter.
Nope.
Considering he was in Mortal Kombat 9 tail, picture this. Maybe we can get Kratos to go to the DC universe and fight Darkseid.
Sure. And when it comes to Sony stuff, I guess it would be more logical Cole McGrath. Yeah, Infamous did have a comic run done by DC. Jesus!
Hey.
Is this what it's like when they have a staring contest?
Hey, look, Theo, it's not like he needed those eyes anyway.
Again, that's another thing that the new 52s is kind of infamous for, being increasingly more violent.
Well, I mean, he is trying to kill people.
Oh,
so.
no. Not necessarily to a fault for now, Dweebs, but a lot of times it did reach to a fault.
Again, keep in mind, this is a toned-down version.
Yeah.
yeah.
And remember, Dweebs, that was kind of the status quo for the comic for, 10 years at least?
Like, it got to a point where they had to address it in Infinite Crisis.
Well, the Infinite Crisis was before the New 52. Again, DC constantly seems to never learn of that.
What?
Deji's right. Time is a flat circle.
Well, Teo, remember, the ancient Egyptians believed that history repeated itself, so that's kind of been a thing. Which begs the question.
Oh my God! You're telling me yelling at a machine actually does get it to work? Oh God damn it! Insufficient energy.
You were saying, Pedro?
Seriously,
Sorry.
first there's no internet, now there's no batteries. Damn, fucking
I
technology.
noticed
But
another
anyway,
close-up about Khan, Pedro.
which begs the question: if this is "quote unquote" moderate violence, what would be the rating on those comics then?
Well, if you haven't seen the review, Pedro, the movie that concludes this continuity is actually R-rated. It shows.
Well,
Wow.
Sure. I guess we'll see.
What's called?
Sorry, that leaves her.
What's the movie called? The one that's R-rated?
Justice League Dark.
Dark Apocalypse, I think.
Ooh, headbutt.
Maybe maybe they have something like akin to the Mortal Kombat animated films where you
Is it
see
Justice
someone's
League?
arms getting ripped off.
Is it Justice League Apocalypse War?
Yeah.
Diana, you want to get your sword back?
Alright, she can get another.
Yeah, around here it's rated 15 for strong, gory violence.
Catch you next time,
And
Justice
it
League.
ends the same way how Flashpoint does.
Next time.
Someone get Billy,
So-
please.
Soups?
Maria,
no, so
This
Cyborg
is
will
what
do
you
it.
wanted.
No need for sacrifices like that, Dej. It all comes back to football.
Just wish it was ours.
Sure.
Can we have a British version of the Justice League called like the Justice Court or something?
I think they're it's funny you mention
Yeah,
that.
I know that's a bit. Justice and Court. Yeah, I know that's a bit obvious, but still.
You know the funny thing, Dweebs? For the Criminal Syndicate, that actually is a British version of the Justice League, except that they're evil.
Of course, we're the bloody evil ones because apparently whoever wrote that is stuck in the bloody.
Okay.
1950s.
To be fair, Dweebs, Brits playing villains are still a common thing to the point where that was even the subject of a Super Bowl commercial for cars.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, here's my question
There we
though,
go,
Joe.
getting the rescuing the victims.
Here's my question, and the one that particularly irks me the most: are they evil because they're British? Because they're like, "Oh, America, we're the good guys," and all that.
Oh no, I mean, to be fair, even the Brits play into that stereotype these days too.
Hi.
And now the Justice League are welcomed by... Wait, hold on.
No, don't worry. This is not the Marvel universe.
Oh
I'm
my...
kidding. Doing the JLA/Avengers crossover had the Marvel heroes flabbergasted, but the DC universe did not jump on them.
And then the newspaper headlines the next day: Justice League caused damage in Metropolis.
Okay, to be fair, the city was uninhabited because everyone was kidnapped, so...
Does this universe have its own J. Jonah Jameson?
This is the DC universe, so we're probably going to have Frank Miller style. So we're probably going to have Frank Miller style news shows of people constantly talking to each other about how superheroes suck. No, actually they don't suck. No, they do suck. No, they do suck. No, they don't suck. So probably we'll have that.
Right, guys, is there a J. Jonah Jameson equivalent in the DC world?
Your closest thing is Perry White, but, obvious differences between him and J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, from what I've seen of him in film... From what I've seen of him in from what I've seen of him in films, he's more so just an editor as opposed to that editor. He's trying to make Superman look bad by twisting Superman saves an aeroplane as Superman stadium.
That's my point, essentially. And, it's the closest thing you'll get, but they're not really that similar.
Also, what's up with these final set of dialogues where the characters are constantly, almost self-deprecating? Like, no, we're not a team. I don't like you and everything. Like, the good resolution in this is finally Cyborg gets some approval from his father.
Okay.
Please.
It's more so a joke.
Well, with Batman and Hal Jordan, I can get it, more of a joke and everything. But then it cuts to Superman saying, "No, we're totally not a team." Like, fuck off!
No.
Some fucking levity.
Hold on. Soup's point was more so he doesn't think of them as a team, more so it's just a bunch of fire-forged friends, essentially. It's clunky dialogue, but I get what he's going for there.
Pedro?
Yeah,
well-
speaking of,
Ow.
like,
I don't have any.
This is a
in-universe-
cynical ending.
welcome to the new 52, Tej.
Okay. The
Yes.
idea of this is to be ironic, essentially. Again, it does not come across the best, so I can get why you guys would see it that way.
The Avengers.
Huh.
Oh, wait. The Squadron Supreme.
Oh, God.
I got. You know what this is, guys? It's very fantastic. It's very fantastic.
Wait, say it again?
No,
This
Pedro, I
Super
got...
7.
Oh
Pedro,
my God,
it's fantastic.
they actually did the Fan 4-6 thing of not saying the name.
actually,
One year before that.
I've got it, Pedro. Oh God, I got it. Well, in response to what he said earlier about the Super 7, is like, oh God, your name is right at the bottom of the league. Wait, I
Well-
got it. The league.
Oh, Sean Astin is Shazam. Okay.
Yeah, they mentioned
that's
that.
the thing. I must have missed
Why
that.
does he get top billing?
Steven Universe is Billy Batson, but go on, Pedro.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Alan Tudyk was really good in this because, well, it's Alan Tudyk. But why did you get George Newbern and whatever?
You were-
For the-
And you was asking, say to me some.
when it comes to the whole J. Jonah in DC thing, I can't find you an in-universe direct equivalent, but I can find you an out-of-universe direct in terms of the whole making Superman look bad to make others look cool. Doug Mowick. There you go. There's your J. Jonah.
Also, Mr. Fantastic from the 2005 Fantastic Four was in this movie too.
Okay, so my best guess as to why they didn't have George Newbern reprise his role as Superman was, again, it was sort of the same thing with the New 52. Essentially, they wanted to, diversify this from what had come before, essentially. Make it clear that this ain't your granddaddy's Justice League and all
it's
this.
like if they have Commissioner Gordon in this movie and he was voiced by Kevin Conroy, but hold on. Oh, I guess this is the setup for Aquaman.
Yeah, and Aquaman swears revenge for
Because
them
you
killing
killed
all the
so
fish.
much stuff. Yeah, that's not sentient shit.
Oh, he becomes
this is
Namor.
Norm.
Nope. Yep,
Ocean
that's
Master.
Ocean Master.
Yeah, that checks out.
So, yes. So, yeah, you can look forward to the next movie in that regard, which is Aquaman, Son of Atlantis.
Throne of Atlantis.
Well, except not quite, because the next movie after this was actually Son of... Oh, wait, never mind.
I thought you said Frodo of Atlantis.
Moving on, Dibs.
Well, that
Oh, wait,
was...
no. Actually, no. The third movie that came out was actually Son of Batman in 2014, so you would have to wait a bit of an extra year until in 2015 then would come Justice League Throne of Atlantis.
Justice League versus Teen Titans after Son of
Anyway.
Batman.
As I was saying, well, that was something. I mean, it's not bad or anything. It's just kind of, it's decent. But okay, the positives are that I think the acting was okay, decent enough to understand. But I think the more jovial stuff and the darker stuff are kind of at odds with each other. It's not like that, but that it still needed work. And who knows? Maybe in future movies they'll have rectified that issue.
Yeah.
Since this one's apparently more
Earlier?
because apparently this one's starting with a more unified approach to to the film universe, as opposed to just like each film is like a different one and they have nothing to do with the other.
Pretty much, yeah. I'll admit, for a moment of time, even I didn't know that these movies were supposed to be all connected, until I noticed, wait, no, they're acknowledging this in this previous movie, And then, yeah, it is clear that these are connected. Again, it did not start off perfect, as you've seen from this movie, but it had a fair enough start, and again, will continue to get better.
Yeah, well, I'll just have to cross my fingers and hope. But for now, it's perfect. It's solid, but I won't say anything more than that.
Fair enough.
I'll go next. Why not?
Sure.
Damn, this was a rough one. I had to be honest. Towards the end, I can kind of get what the writers were trying to do, but getting to that point was such a slog in a lot of places. I'm sorry. Like, the characterization is something that I cannot really ignore. I'm sorry. Again, like I said, I get it what they were trying to do, but I cannot really approve, not at least 100% what they did. Like, god damn, it's a good thing that I prefer Kyle Rayner, but if I was actually a Hal Jordan fan, I would have probably be severely pissed off by the way he gets tossed around like a ragdoll, and only in the last 10 minutes of the movie he manages to actually get an actual W. Again, Batman and Barry are probably the more balanced out characters out of the whole team, because then we get Wonder Woman, who's doing the whole warrior shtick but doesn't know modern society. That again, arguably the DCEU live action movie actually had a bit more class in doing it, if I have to be honest. Soapsy is mostly fine. It has just that bit at the beginning in the fight with Batman that can get a bit on the nerve, but for the rest of the movie, he seems to actually get better on that front. Cyborg is actually also one of the more balanced ones, but again, like he said, the dialogue involving him and his father could have conveyed the thing so much better with just a bit of tweak. Again, it's all over the place and not in a good way to me. Like, if this was that kind of start for this new universe, and if I was actually there properly watching it as it was unfolding, I would have not stuck around that much, to be honest, because damn, again, it's a good thing that around this time they kept releasing also movies that were not tied to this continuity and thus allowed the characters to be a bit different than this, because again, as much as it's toned down, this still embodies all the wrong things of the New 52. Aggressively lacking of respect, because they kind of summed it up as best when doing the retrospective of Blue Beetle. Again, a general also kind of lack of respect for everyone, and also, as Deji said, over cynicism. And even as someone who normally understands this kind of potential narrative and normally would actually, be not okay with it, but see where it goes, for this movie, it really was rough. Like, I'm not saying that every time the characters should be written like they were in the Silver Age or, in the 90s, because this is supposed to still be a new continuity anyway, But, again, there's kind of a methodology that it's missing here, and it kind of also goes in asking the question who these new heroes are even for. Like, the new generation of comic book readers, the few there were, at that point this was made 2014, really were not having this mentality when it came to making something that would appeal to them. So really, I don't understand the thought process that DC, and in this case Warner Bros, had when establishing this new characterization, and it showed because the New 52 did not sell, and Geoff Johns had to step in and try to reboot things again, which did improve things more or less. To put it bluntly, things are not still on a complete great level when it comes to the post-rebirth DC comic book universe, but they are better than they were in the New 52, that's for sure.
It's like I mentioned, the overall way things are now is that for the most part stuff is reverted to pre-reboot stuff, but they have kept arguably the better aspects of a New 52. Like, they kept the New 52 version of Harley Quinn, essentially, from what I can recall, the version that now has her own skin bleached and whatnot, implemented that stuff here and there. They took some details for Batman from the New 52 as well. Again, it's really hard to really explain in depth here, comic books and whatnot, but, I would say, thankfully, it's in a much better state. Even better after they fired Dan DiDio. Thank God.
Again, in general, this was way too rough for me to say it's still a good movie in the end. I'm sorry. Like, it gets a bit better towards the end, particularly climax and everything. I also particularly not approve, as I mentioned, using Darkseid as a starter villain for this, because it kind of falls into a bit of the same problems that the DCEU had. Like, sure, you want to have a strong starter villain, but again, that's what Starro was for. Mind control the people with its minions and being still a larger cosmic threat without still having to immediately go to Apokolips. Point is, again, this is fine, but it could have been so much better and still severely flawed to me.
That's fair.
The best I can say. I know already how this continuity ends because I saw Dark Lord Shadow's review, and for the sake of everything, I will not say any spoilers about that. But I still want to see where we get from point A to point B, I guess.
Hold on.
Next,
which review of his?
The last movie, Justice League Dark Apokolips.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Setting aside from the fact that, I've already explained, I don't really like the way even this toned down version of the New 52 handles the characterization of these characters. Again, this is exactly the problem. Basically the same problem I have with something, say, like
Man of
Batman v
Steel?
Superman, for example. Well, Man of Steel was an origin story for Superman, so it doesn't really relate to what I'm about to say. What I mean is that, immediately when I saw that they were introducing both that universe's Batman as well into the second movie, and then already a crossover between the two. No, establish your heroes individually first, and then have them cross over. Like this idea of trying to introduce all members of the Justice League in just one movie, and especially a smaller movie like this, which is only 80 minutes long. No, that's because of the pacing. You have to Cyborg's origin story is rushed. Flash, with Flash it's fine because with Flash they established him in Flashpoint before this, so that's fine. With Superman, everybody knows Superman's origin, so I guess you can forgive that one too.
So,
Yeah. The problem is that, let's take Al Jordan, for example. Because we still don't have a definitive cinematic adaptation of the Green Lantern origin stories, to my knowledge.
Actually, we do.
We had First Flight, but
I guess.
Admittedly, it was a bit long ago. Again, as much as it pains me to say it, because I really would wish it would be otherwise, but there's a thing of that mainstream audience, as in, the people who knows superheroes mostly about stuff like the MCU, don't really have much of an exposure with Green Lantern outside of the 2011 movie, which, yes, still had a comprehensible origin story, but it wasn't enough, and being mocked by everyone means that people will disregard a lot of it arbitrarily. So
what they were trying to do with Hal in this movie was they were trying to inject all those things that arguably made other Green Lanterns unique, but doesn't necessarily work for Hal in that regard. Granted, that may have been a comic original thing too, so maybe. Regardless, that's what I feel the writers were trying to do with Hal here. I don't necessarily think it worked. That's just my take as to why they did that.
My basic point is that you can't just start your structure Justice League in the middle. Oh, let's introduce all the characters and have them meet immediately. And like Teo said, the Paradox thing is a thing where, Wonder Woman is just now getting used to civilization, and already we're doing the Justice League. I feel like this is one of, again, like Jova said earlier, the Justice League animated series did this well because they actually had the time to properly set everything up. This is an 80-minute movie. You can't really do this here. If you really wanted to do this, you should have done something akin to what other DC animated films have done and make this like a two-parter or something.
Or if I can contribute, have you ever seen Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Yes.
Because I believe the first 4 episodes were just introducing each character, and then they had a two-parter that had the big event happening.
I feel like they only actually met up by the... Okay. I feel like they actually met up by, like, the end of the first season for that two-parter.
No.
Yeah, whatever. The point is, no, this is not how it should have been handled. Again, I don't know how the original... I'm guessing the original con probably handles this better. I think it's 6 issues.
You would just have to deal with the tropes associated with New 52 that I mentioned.
Yeah, and in that case, no thanks. Aside from that, the animation's fine for the most part, but then there's those off moments, like Teo has been pointing out. The acting is the best part. Like, they got an all-star cast of voice actors to do everything, even though the casting is a bit weird at times. But at least Alan Tudyk now can say that he played Superman at one point, so there's that. Overall, it's just like I can get what they were going for, but I have a problem with the characterization and the overall structure. I'm not really a fan. It doesn't really work out for me. It's not terrible or anything, but I'm not particularly keen on it. That's about it, really. It's I guess overall it's just decent at best. So there's that. Go on.
Anyway, Dej, I figured out what I was thinking of. It's the micro series tied to Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That's when they made that's the finale.
They just basically showed like Iron Man. They had 5 episodes introducing the characters. Then episode 6 and 7 where it was the big event.
Pretty much the reason I thought that was the finale is because the micro series uses footage from the show, and the finale of that one is the bit where the Avengers finally hook up against Graviton. But yeah, no, you're right. In season 1, that's actually episode 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dej, your thoughts?
This movie sucks. I am not too familiar with the New 52 compared to the rest of you guys. More specifically,
well, I'm not either, Dej. So.
But God, why? I get it. They wanted to reboot and make things more quote unquote accessible, but this just feels like a needless. Why is Superman a jerk? Why is Hal Jordan this cocky, arrogant piece of trash? I don't know who this movie is for. It's such a derivative of the characters who are supposed to be larger than life and brightly optimistic. Everyone just comes off as an asshole. This isn't the characters that I like. These are just, people. This feels like someone addressing a random person's criticism towards Superman. It's like, all right, we gotta make Superman's boring, so we gotta make him more antagonistic.
Congrats, Dej. You pretty much just summed up the problem with a lot of comic book cases of trying to deconstruct superheroes, essentially.
You know what? Maybe Alan Moore had a point.
That's kind of the thing, though. The big plot twist is, Watchmen was kind of made canon to the DC universe.
Because again, despite everything, it's kind of poetic. The entire point of his message of Alan Moore and got properly misunderstood, for lack of a better word, because of corporate meddling. Beautiful.
Yep. No, I mean, I do get where you're coming from, Dej. Again, no. It does get better, but at the end of the day, this is an adaptation of one of the earlier New 52 comics at that. Basically, Dej, the New 52 in general was, it started off as, of course, a big deconstruction, showing that heroes' lives really aren't all it's cracked up to be. Because, trust me, thank God they seem to have sanitized Wonder Woman here, because you would hate what they did with the Amazons in the New 52 comic.
Oh, I know one thing that I cannot say because we're recording, because it's really bad.
Okay.
I'll say it after we're done.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
The pacing and structure is a mess. By like the halfway point, I was just done with everything. I didn't care what happened. I did see it once, and I wasn't impressed. This is worse than I remembered it. And the ending is such a cynical way to establish it. It's like, we're not friends. And
Again, these joyless general tone present.
It's ironic
Like,
because Dwibs actually
can
thought
understand-
that the tone among the heroes was jovial.
Mostly
Like,
probably
I
the
can
banter
understand-
during combat, I guess.
I can understand it's like they're coming to terms with like them being a team. It's like, yeah, this feels weird. Normally, I'm just by myself. So
Yeah.
well, like they're just nervous about the whole thing rather than, no, I don't like this. We're not friends. We're not a team. This is dumb.
Again, the idea is that they're going for irony, but given the tone of the movie, it can definitely come off like it's being joyless in that regard.
There's not a sense of irony. Oh. Thank God they rebooted.
Well, again, to give this universe credit, I do still feel like they got better over time. Again, the comics are their own story. But yeah, no, I do agree. I'm glad that the New 52 is dead. Can I even say they tried to?
What? Sorry.
In regards to the New 52, I want to say they tried, but... oh boy. It was,
Okay, the only good story that came out of it that I do consider worth remembering as far as my head can think of is the Court of Owls, and that was probably because it was already in the works before the New 52 started.
Yeah, that seems like the one thing that people did like about New 52, and I believe people liked the take on Aquaman as well.
oh yeah, people definitely liked that as well. A lot of the Batman stuff was good because, and I can't stress this enough, Batman was widely, for the most part, unchanged. Let me put it like this: whereas
Gee, I
everyone
wonder why.
was getting gloomier and gloomier, Batman was surprisingly one of the more upbeat heroes in the New 52.
The only difference is they gave him a son, and people were kind of split on Damien.
But now they like him.
I still don't.
Yeah, that's because you hate kids.
Sure. Continue.
And I said this earlier. I am so sick of them trying to push Cyborg as part of the Justice League instead of the Teen Titans. That's not where he belongs.
Again, I don't want to say they're doing it just to have the token black guy,
But they're doing it just because they are.
Like, wouldn't I don't know the logistics behind that, but wouldn't Jon Stewart already count as that?
Okay. Here's the thing, though. Jon Stewart has historically been a member of the Justice League by the time that the show came
That
around.
was reasonably what Deji suggested. Like, if they want to have the token minority representative.
Oh, trust
But
me.
they want to give Hal Jordan spotlight to the mainstream.
Yep, that's pretty much.
So why didn't there were other black heroes that they could have used, like Black Lightning or Mr. Terrific.
Or heck,
It
Static
didn't
Shock.
decide.
He was becoming a bigger thing too.
No, I do not want him to be part of the Justice League either. But yeah, I don't like this. I'm done. Move on.
Guess that leaves me then.
Good.
Okay, yeah. Looking back at this, it is rougher than I remember it. That being said, I don't think it's bad. Is it based off of a New 52 story and does it show? Yes. But I think it works. It's not the best. Again, some of the character introductions are not handled the best. I don't think anyone ever gets to the point of being cold. I do kind of see the issues with Hal, though, in that regard here. Again, it's not that he's stupid or that he never gets to succeed, but Man, I guess the idea is that he needs the most humbling. The issue is that I don't think the story exactly shows us why he needs that humbling until relatively later into the story, which, again, can be a bit iffy. Superman is fine. He's good. Batman, he's fine too. Wonder Woman, not the best, but I'd say she's fine as well. And again, thank God they toned down that stuff with the Amazons, because Jesus Christ. Also, I do like how this one is also not afraid to point out legit issues with the New 52 and address them by going, yeah, no, we're not going to do that, essentially, with the whole shipping Superman and Diana. Like, sure, they might flirt a bit later, but no, they're never going to get to, like, the level of status that the original New 52 had. What else? As is per usual, the animation is good for the most part. A few hiccups here, but overall it's good and fine work stuff. I like the stuff with Cyborg. Billy is fine. Again, I feel like overall I can say the characters were handled fine. Not the best, though. Let's see. 2014... Again, I can get the semblance that the team behind this movie were sort of juggling what they were going to add here and there, especially if they probably didn't even know they were going to get a whole universe out of these movies at the time. Again, that's just speculation on my part. For all I know, this is as they planned it, and again, they would flesh them out in other movies. Okay, at the very least, we know that the Atlantis sequel was planned, given the whole bit with Atlantis and Ocean Master. Music's good. Again, I'd say this movie is good, but it is definitely held back by its flaws in that regard. Still, here's hoping for more and better, as the next movie in the timeline is...
Batman, I guess.
Yep, Son of Batman. And then after that will come Throne of Atlantis.
Okay, yeah, for that, I guess.
See ya.